So check that out. Helps us a whole bunch as we go into game number 1 of a TVZ series. We start off on a loss aversion. We saw a pretty cool PvZ on this between soO and MC. So let's get this set up and see what happens. The bottom left side, our red Zerg player is soO. Top right hand side, the blue Terran player from Blazer is Bunny. Robo26 finds that Twitch Prime button. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that Twitch Prime. As Ryujin Sin says, he says, give this man a Twitch Prime sub and you can use this beautiful emote. That beautiful, beautiful Rift Flush. Yeah, you can spam that on Rifkin's channel and he will love you for it. Thank you so much, Robo26. I appreciate it. Alright, so setting this up in SCV, moving forwards. And seeing what's going to be happening here as the command center dropping down from Bunny in the natural. Again, loss aversion. We'll see how the map goes with these players able to mine out those minerals and gain access to this base a little bit earlier, if that's going to be the option, or whether they're going to play it a little bit differently than that. soO has played a spawning pool first, but he's kept his lings at home, which is interesting, actually. As the Reaper starts to move across as well, the ling is now going to head onto the map. Interesting. So the Reaper are going to still come across despite seeing it's a pool first. The ling is very delayed in moving across. It's a relatively short map, all things said, though. Ling is going to be coming across from soO, seeing what's up. My boy Shemzy, what's up? The mandatory Rift Pledge. Thank you so much for the 7 months, dude. Appreciate the 7 months indeed. Reaper pops down to the low ground, up through the center. Going to see a couple lings of soO. Going to try and dive in up on that command center, top right side. So soO going to dive in here with a few of these lings. Oh my god, SCV gets killed on 71 out of 71. That's always the worst feeling. 71 out of 71. It's literally completed. It just forgot to finish the animation. Whenever SCV comes down, finishes it literally before it even touches it. And that single Marine now actually in some trouble too. Reaper's on its way back home. Engineering Bay block coming in to slow down the third base from being taken. I like that because that's actually kind of cute and annoying as well. I mean, this SCV and this Marine are going to go down, but the Reaper at least showing up to clean up these Zerglings. So finally they will be dealt with as well. 2 more actually still up in the natural, and the Reaper's being pulled down to the bottom side of the map. Hellion doing a little bit of a dance there with the supply depot. Interesting maneuvers. Never seen a Hellion dancing before. Obviously thinks they're on Disco Bloodbath. No, this isn't the Disco map, guys. This is loss aversion. Save your dancing for Disco. Medevac is starting up now from Bunny. So getting that Medevac going. Engineering Bay here is getting picked off as well. So Engineering Bay will fall, actually. Gives access to soO to throw down the hatchery. So hatchery gets placed. Just going to see a couple of those lings getting picked off here as well. As a mule will drop down. This entire bracket's pretty sick, by the way. I was just thinking about it a little bit, but like, you know, Zest versus True, winner plays Solar tomorrow. Keen versus Impact today, and the winner of that plays Hero tomorrow. Some really cool matches coming up. Gonna be a really sick ending to the tournament tomorrow as well, so make sure you watch out for that. As do see a few queens just gathering up. A few lings set up here as well. Command center from Bunny will drop down on the front of the natural. A couple of barracks being built up. You want to see that Baneling nest on the way up from soO as well. And again, a couple more overlords just finishing here. The queen popping out. Last still on the way up. A Hellion drop into the main. As Bunny's Medevac able to come in, and that's actually quite nice. 6 workers killed. However, the Hellions are getting caught, so only 2 of them will get out of here alive. 6 workers though, still pretty good. soO finally gets that third hatchery finished as well after that Engineering Bay block was slowing that down for a little while. Don't forget, guys, after the next what was I going to say? After the tournament phase, there's a little while where the map makers get to make some changes to their maps and make a couple of fixes, etc. But after that, we go into the voting phase, and you guys can vote for your favorite maps from this tournament. So make sure you keep an eye out on for that on teamliquid.net. Definitely get your opinion out there, because these maps will shape the next ladder map pool, and people who perform well, the maps that perform well in the votes, generally do seem to make it onto ladder. Viking picks off the Overlord Queens there to push the Viking back through the center of the map. Bolt will just drop down here in front of the natural, and we are going to see that lifting up and moving towards the third base. Hydra's Den has been started as well here by soO. +1 melee and +1 carapace on the way up. And that Baneling speed about halfway done. So I'm going to keep on running forwards and just going to be keeping an eye out over here. He's actually got 2 lings right here. So soO intrigued as to whether Bunny takes this base at all. Not going to be the case. The Italians have been pushed away without any further damage being dealt. And, well, overall, now just the Viking of Bunny heading across over to the left-hand side. So Bunny's Viking over to the left, moving around a little bit, is going to find itself an Overlord to pick off here, so Overlord will start to take quite a bit of damage. Queen comes in though and should be able to push that back as well. Overlord will go down, but it comes at the cost of the Viking. So not a free picking. As Bunny going for a bit of an attack. Bit of an early attack. He has Stim. Medivacs, I guess, all on the way up, and prepared this Medivac from earlier, so pushing forwards here, I think mostly looking to just clean up some creep spread, right? Teach the tank on the edge of the creep, and again, just stem forwards, get rid of some creep spread. Don't really look for a fight, because I don't think a fight on creep is going to go that well for you, but obviously cleaning up creep spread like this is really good, because it slows Berserk down massively. As you can see, you know, get the lift up as well. Some tank shots are good too. I like it. Good little play by Bunny. Not overly aggressive, nothing too crazy about this at all. As we have got those Marines coming up through the center. I'm going to be seeing another tank joining up here as well, so actually a lot of units going to start joining up out in towards the middle of the map as we see the Marines tanks pressing forwards. A scan comes in, just going to be able to pick off another couple of these creep tumors now. Again, the melee upgrade's about to complete, and we have got the Hydra speed muscular augments on the Hydra Den. So Lingbane Hydra out of soO here in this game number 1. But you're going to do the same thing, siege up tanks off creep, probably scan and clean up this creep spread up to the top side, and again, just cleaning up creep in a couple different directions, opening up different attack paths for him. Apparently missed those tumors up on the top. That's so unfortunate. Oh, no, he sees one. He just wasn't in range before. And a little bit too late now as the drop goes into the main. A couple drones already in a nice little position to fight against Lings as well in this choked up area. However, Medivac is targeted by the Queen and Spore. Apparently Bunny didn't realize that before he lifted up, because obviously that was not quite the lift he was looking for. It's a real shame that these 2 active tumors are still around, because it means the Queens don't even have to come over here to help back this up, as those tanks now a little bit abandoned as well. Although Bunny started to drop off creep, but soO just jumps on the units and says, "Nuh-uh, that's not happening. No way, buddy, not at all." So Bunny just has to lift up again, and will continue to back away. And well, now he has lost a few tanks here. He has to be a bit careful with this. He brings the Hellions in from earlier in the game. We can move from the Hellbats at this stage, so they can actually do a little bit of tanking. I mean, they've been repaired back up. May as well use them for something. And this fight off creep, definitely the sort of fight that Bunny wants. I mean, soO is kind of taking it for a little while, then he realizes, well, why am I fighting off creep? I have no need to. I have 4 bases, a 5th on the way up. If I'm fighting off creep, it's because I want to be attacking into you, not have you just sort of attacking into me. Again, soO just pulling back to the bottom left-hand side. Things and Hydras picking their way through these rocks. I'm just going to be seeing a couple of siege tanks unsieging right now and pressing forwards through the middle. Tanks get siege. Infestation Pit drops down from soO, and again 5th base on the top left. About to finish up. I mean, he's got so much creep on the map, so despite what happened earlier, there's those 2 active tumors were missed before. Oh, we'll protect some of these new ones as well. I like it. soO always looping around and trying to come in from a couple of different directions. The thing is, Bunny seems to have these pushes, and he gets going, then he just sort of stops dead in water. And he's like, well, actually, how do I push any further forwards? Because there's so much creep here. And he just has to push forward so slowly. It gives soO so much time to build up units, and well, I mean, soO's continuing to tech up as well. Infestation Pit about to finish, opens up access to the Hive Tech, of course. And then Hive Tech completely changes the game in terms of how Bunny has to play out against it. The Bio Bunny setting up in the middle. Couple more tanks pressing forwards here. The Lingbane and Hydra coming straight through at the minute. A lot of Lings coming in from the top side as well. The Bio going to stem forwards. More of this Lingbane continuing to clean out. Sensor Tower goes down. The Siege Tank drops off as well. And soO takes a big fight in the middle. Army supply drops pretty evenly on both sides in the end, but killing off the siege tanks, etc. resets that, tech units out of the Terran quite heavily. And soO being chased down by this Bioforce. So a few more Hydras are dropping. You'll see a couple of creep units being picked off here as well. So a little bit more creep taken down. Banelings are morphing in. And well, soO just coming around the top side with Lings and Hydras. Trying to see where he can get to. Again, I mean, he's still got good creep to kind of flank in onto this, but he doesn't obviously, Bunny just will not walk onto creep. As he takes the forward 4th base. I mean, Terrans will love this base. Rich Geyser, forward position, can plan to fortress it up. It's kind of the dream position for Terran players, as we do see Bunny pulling back for a moment. So Lingbane Hydra now set up to the top side of this here. Again, the Bio pressing forwards, applying some pressure towards those other units. And Bunny still just at a bit of a standstill as the Hive tech about to kick in from soO. Now for Hive, there's a few different options for him against a tank-based comp like this one. I mean, there's potential for Vipers as a priority, but I feel like there's not enough tanks to justify that. So maybe just straight in towards the Ultras Cavern and building up over there. Obviously, +3/+3 upgrades will be a priority as well, as that's a full medevac that falls. Good snipe down by soO. Just good defense again. soO has just been so resilient, never really allowing Bunny to jump in and do too much. There will be Vipers to begin with. I mean, the one benefit of Vipers is that they come up so quickly. You don't have to wait for like an Ultra Cavern to build and then Ultras to come out with chitinous plating. Vipers just come in here instantly and you can add a couple on. And again, it will help still against a couple of these tanks. I guess the tank count is building back up again. That was my only reason not to go Vipers, because he'd already cleaned out a lot of the tanks. But he gets Adrenal Glands too, which is also going to help those Zerglings do more damage. And here we go. So units actually setting up for a bit of a flank in, but also a counter-attack across the map. These Banes get quite a lot done, but the Hydras start to go down. The Planetary Fortress here will hold as well. And it just feels like soO loses a lot without really killing much. I guess he got a couple Banes off into the center of the bio for a few moments, and that definitely helped. soO's still minding these 5 bases. That upper left base is just so safe at the moment. Lings still pressing forwards here, picking off a couple of Marines. So much bio of Bunny. You're going to see the stun come through, the Lings, Banes, and Hydras. Still trying to see what's up. Here we go, going to start swarming into this. The Blinding Clouds will come down on top of the siege tank to maybe abduct that other siege tank forwards. Nope, just going to Blinding Cloud it. No need to abduct it in if he's going to get on top of it in the end anyways. And it does go down with only one more shot fired. And that's a much better, much bigger cleanup from soO. A much more comfortable setup for him, as now he will hold. And Buddy will have to keep on trying to press in. I mean, he comes across the map with another army. And again, it's pretty short to reinforce from his bases, and that's why he's able to keep on showing up with these armies. But soO is still trading so well. So he just needs to spend that money in his bank. And then there's a final side of upgrades coming through. Hatchery killed off. No cancel. He's just going to see a little bit more bio coming out. Again, I guess what's so interesting about this is it feels like the base-to-base rush is pretty short, but to actually hit these bases in the top feels almost impossible. Maybe just because Bunny continues to kind of attack through the center of the map, more so than any other position. There's the medevac's hanging out overhead, some more of the bio setting up here. And we see that Ultras Cavern now dropping down as well out of soO. So dropping the Ultras Cavern down. I'm just going to see a little bit of Lingbane Hydra setting up to the top, some Lingbane Hydra in the center. A little bit of bio stim in, and some Zerglings already dropping down. Banes, Hydra still pressing in here once again. Just going to be seeing some connections coming through as we see a lot of units being cleaned up. The Hydra swarming in from the top side. Good Blinding Clouds forcing the bio down. Just going to see a few more of this bio units getting picked away at here. A couple of siege tanks will drop as well. And so soO is absolutely overwhelming in the middle of the map right here. Medevac gets picked off as well. Good job. 2 empty medevac's going to try and bait the army away. I like the idea because he's sort of saying like, hey, come chase after this, when actually he doesn't really have anything. He's also sending a real drop to the top side. What a bait out of Bunny. Works brilliantly here as soO comes down and it's like, whoa, there's no drop. Haha, I've dealt with it. And then the drop comes into the top left. I mean, soO has not really had any issues holding this 5th base at all until just now. There's extra 2 hatcheries coming up over here as well, as the Lings will continue to run on in and will just not save this. The Marauder shot will be good to finish it off. Ultra's now coming onto the map here from soO as well. He's getting that chitinous plane, and then he can go into the anabolic synthesis. The Ultras with the increased speed off of creep. I'm not going to lie, since they buffed that upgrade, I haven't really seen Ultras off of creep too much, so it'll be interesting to see them run. Still going to see this. There's a little bit of bio hanging out in the center. Lings, Banes, Hydras, and Ultras up to the top, and that's going to be the 2 Medivacs killed. So a nice catch in the end here from soO, as it wasn't so pretty early. Spire drops down on the top left-hand side. Ghost Academy building up as well. And we are going to be seeing the scan dropping down one more time. Still have this army of soO pulling through or pushing through the bottom side of the map. Bio units of Bunny heading into the center as well. And I mean, soO he's just waiting for a drop, and there is a drop coming. Oh, he moves out of position just at the wrong time, so the drop will get away. Now, that's very unfortunate. So Bunny will have an opportunity now to maybe deal some damage over towards the main base. And forwards here, these 2 Medivacs coming in. Medivacs taking a little bit of damage already. Bio dropping through, and again, that Queen will fall. So Queen down. Again, the center, a little bit of bio gathering up as well. And again, this little drop in the main base. Seeing a lot of damage dealt at the moment. Bunny trying to come down to the bottom left-hand side through the center, but decides he can't overall. With 6 workers killed, again, it's just buying time, and Bunny sent up into more of a solid position, getting Ghosts up now as well. Zerglings also continuing to come on through here. As those Medivacs still unable to unload because the Lings are keeping track of them. Looks like soO's going to send up a bit of a counterattack, probably hit this wall off and into that base. That, or he flanks into this army in the middle, because he has an army on the top side as well, so there's a possibility. He's actually getting a little ahead of himself, I feel, and already engaging in. Pulls back away now, though. Bunny stims, so that's already pretty expensive. Big amount of health dropping off of the Marines and Marauders there to not really do much. The center of this map getting a bit scary, though. A lot of missile turrets, even building up a sensor tower, is that? I can't click on it. Why can't I click on it? I literally can't click on this structure. Literally can't click on it. There we go. Sensor tower. It is a sensor tower. Oh my god. Literally just couldn't click on it. Ling's going to come forwards here and actually going to fight in. As here he goes. soO from the top side as well. So it's a full surround. A few Banes already crashing in. Some Ghosts are going to desperately try to throw down snipes. The Vipers throw down blinding clouds where possible. And it looks like soO is kind of winning the fight out. He's got some Ultras remaining. There's still some Hydras left as well. Reinforcements show up from the Terran player, though. soO has the larger bank to rebuild with, as in the end, all the Ultras were killed off. The last couple of tank shots ended up being pretty deadly here. And he's going to find a siege tank over on the side, but it costs him 2 Hydras and 3 Hydras because one low health Marine picks off a Hydra on low hit points as well. soO will now start losing this forward base. And this Bunny is bringing the Liberate into play as well, but the Lings and Hydras going to clean this up. The Ghost goes down too. Now it's only really Medivacs left over. Bunny not having enough is going to get turned away, and those Medivacs having to pull back to the center of the map. Again, more Ultras coming up, more Vipers being built, Siege Tank, Medivacs, all of this coming into play right now. As we are going to see the +1 vehicle plating just seconds away from finishing. I mean, extra upgrades from Bunny. Is it going to be a turning point, though? I'm not really sure. soO still has a lot to work with here. A few Marines already stimming forwards. And, well, first tank shots are actually pretty good on top of some of those Lings. There you go, Ultras pressing straight through into this, and going to find a couple of siege tanks. Ghosts getting taken down before they can do much other than one single snipe. And well, now this just looks as though Bunny has no way to defend this, right? Like, his army is just bio units. There's no Liberators left. There's one single siege tank. And that's not enough compared to what he's had before to be able to deal with these armies. And so soO looks as though finally at the 20-minute marker, he will have too much. GG is called, and soO picks up game number 1 of this best of 5. Let's see how this goes down on Black Baroque. To the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player is soO from Chivo Esports. Up against the blue Terran in the top left from Blazer. It's Bunny. Alright, so setting off into this right now. I'm looking to see just what is going to happen here. It's just a few drones on the way up. We're going to see the racks dropping down. Black Baroque, this nice large map, and well, interested to see a TVZ on this one. In general, I feel like the TVZs have been the best to kind of test the maps out so far. So, kind of cool to see so many. I mean, we've got Keen vs Impact later today as well, so even more TVZ coming up. As one of our 3 remaining terrors is already eliminated, though, so that's a little bit sad. Not the end of the world, though. Not the end of the world. As you see this Overlord of soO just continuing up to the top side. So Overlord continues towards the upper left. And meanwhile, while this barracks is about to finish up to begin with as well. And we'll start to see what Bunny's plan is. It's just going to be the Reaper expand. I mean, kind of as expected, right? Okay, so getting this going. Alrighty. Well, command center dropping down on this natural as we see this Overlord of soO. Heading in towards the upper left side. Reaper of Bunny starting to head down the left as well. I mean, obviously, early game is starting to just be a little passive here. Just watching this Reaper will obviously try and dive in for a drone. The Lings start to respond. Grenade goes off, doesn't hit anything. Third hatchery drops down as well. There's a couple of Lings doing a good job of just continuing to push that Reaper back. So, Reaper was pushed back there for a few extra moments. On the left side, an Overlord going to be pressing forwards also. Factory lifts up, going to swap to the reactor, and it is going to be double gas. Haven't seen any fast 3CC play yet today, so we'll keep our eyes out for some of that maybe. Especially in a longer, a longer series like a best of 5 or so. Going into something like a something along the lines of like a 3CC one of the games, oftentimes makes a lot of sense and stuff like that. So, do you see that Marine pushing the Overlord down the left side? Overlord not going to be allowed into the main as long as speed. Just about to complete here. And that Starport going to be able to lift and swap over to that Tech Lab now. So Starport onto the Tech Lab as well. Okay. There's a few things come up the upper side of the main base. We're going to see a couple of Queens from soO hanging out as well. Third hatchery now finishing up. And then just going to see there's a couple of Hellions in the Reaper pressing forwards to try and see what's going on. And even more Hellions from the top left-hand side going to come down to the bottom right. Liberator on the way up as well. Lair building from soO now. That is crazy. The Lair coming up from soO just skipping straight over Baneling Nest, straight over anything else, straight in towards, I think, just, well, maybe a very fast Spire here. I have a very fast Bane speed. The Baneling Nest does now start up. Start the Bane Nest a few moments after the Lair and actually finishes on time so that you can start Bane speed right away. But yeah, very fast Lair indeed. And we'll see what that means from soO. It does mean his Queen count is going to be a bit lower, so he would be a bit more vulnerable to any sort of Hellbat attack, but that's not what's coming down here. Bunny's already building a stim pack, extra racks, third CC. None of this pointing towards Hellbats, of course, there's no armory. So soO will kind of get away with it. I mean, if like the 420 build had come in here, he would have had 5 Queens and I guess just Lings. It's enough, but it's not like brilliant, right? It's definitely enough where you can kind of fall apart a little bit too, so you have to be really, really careful. And you see the Liberator sieging up and getting a few drone kills already. Spore Caller and the Queen able to get rid of that Liberator here. So Liberator goes down. On the left-hand side, the Hellions pushing forwards. Not really able to do much though, just grabbing the lava. To engineering base, finishing in the main base. The factory lifts up and goes over towards the Tech Lab. Triple racks now set up to go. And a couple more medevacs starting to build up here as well. So Marines, medevacs pouring on out. 1-1 upgrades on the way from the engineering base. And there's that fast Spire from soO. So I mean, you have to do something with the fast Lair, otherwise it just doesn't make sense. I mean, you can get Bane speed, but you don't still start Bane speed, right? Starts that up now. So the Spire the priority and wants to head straight into the Mutalisks at the moment. So looking to go straight into Mutas. We'll see how that works out for him, as we are going to be seeing the couple of queens still just pushing back these Hellions here, just trying to stop them from getting too much damage dealt. Obviously the Hellions trying to delay the creep tubers as well, and picking off one here, one there, forcing a cancel now and again as well. It's just a little bit frustrating to deal with, right? So that does continue on as these Hellions hanging out over on the left side. Queen's able to pick up this Hellion at the front. Creep still spreading through up to the top side as well. +1 melee, +1 carapace. So both players are heading into further upgrades here. And that Bane speed going to be finishing up shortly too. So as that Bane speed finishes, just going to be seeing Bunny ready for this little bit of a push. We saw this in the last game as well. Sieged up a tank just off of the creep spread, and then just used the Marines to clean up the creep with the tank to kind of support it. Let's see if soO's a little braver this time to maybe engage in, because he has a lot of Ling Bane. Gets straight onto this here. The tank gets instantly surrounded too. Great pull away of those Lings. And now Bunny's going to lift up and go into the main base. Meters are on the way out, so dropping around here does start to become a bit dangerous if you're not careful. So that's something you're going to have to watch out for, as you're going to be seeing those Zerglings forcing the lift up here. And now, well, Meters will chase down those Medivacs, and the Ling Bane, if they can stay underneath it and stop the unload, that'd be kind of nice. He's going to come in and engage us anyway. Loses a Meter. That's a bit of a mistake. Not what we expect from soO. Lifts up into the Medivacs again. Damaged Medivac will run towards the base. Does save. That's actually also sick from Bunny, right? Saves the gives up the lower health Medivac to save the Medivac with units inside, and obviously loaded those units into the higher health Medivac to make sure it'd be the one that survives as well. And the units would survive too. Good job by Bunny. Good little control on the drop. Another little push on the bottom left side, but again, soO is immediately over here in position. There's not many Marines here this time. The Widowmine goes off. Effects are minimized. Now we're going to be seeing a full cleanup, and obviously the Siege Tank will go down on top of that as well. So Siege Tank getting picked off also. And soO still just defending well on the left, on the right. Now we're going to see Bunny setting up a fourth base. His future upgrades have already started, so a little bit ahead of his opponent on those further upgrades now. Meters fly in and pick off another Medivac. He's able to pick off a couple of these Marines as well as they wander around. Wings and Meters, a couple of Banes still gathering together, and going to be heading up the left-hand side. Missile turret just about to finish up in the third base. Extra barracks on the way down. Bunny really setting up into his mid-game once again here. And again, heading into a little bit of a longer setup, as soO apparently forgetting he already started an infestation pit. Starts a second one, realizes it now as he's able to finish the hive, so he cancels that. Maybe able to pick off these rocks in the center, so again, opening up the map a little bit. Extra Banelings morphing in. And again, there's a little bit of bio from Bunny pressing down. See what's up. He still has just such an army that are ready to jump on any of this. And here we go, Lings Meters flying straight through. Picking off a few of those Marines, getting the Marauder as well. Bane's rolling in towards some of those Marines also. We've got so many Marines going down as the Ling Bane Meter Force is actually just going to keep pressing forwards, and Bunny kiting away somewhat desperately almost. There's any Banes left in here, there's one or two, and he will force a lift up, and now the Medivac's in trouble to the Mutalists, and the Meters are going to pick off the full Medivacs first somehow. Well, now the 4 actually soaks up a couple of Bane shots, but will eventually go down to the Zerglings. That fourth base on the planetary completely open. Don't think you go for that. I think you just go for this base up here. Fourth base is like awkwardly far away from these other bases, I feel. Maybe a fourth base here would have been better, but obviously Bunny was doing that typical Terran thing of expanding towards their opponent. GG, and soO goes up 2-0 against soO, truly just looking dominant. As we've got to the bottom right side of the map, our red Zerg player from Chivo Esports, soO. Up against the blue Terran player in the top left-hand side, Bunny. Again, just as a bit of a precursor, after this we have Zest versus True, and after that we're going to have Impact versus Keen to wrap up the day. So that's what's going on here tonight, as we get this set up and rolling. going into game 3 of this best of 5. So this series to finish up, and then 2 more best of 5s still to come. Gonna be awesome. Especially I think Impact Keen feels like a very evenly matched series. That's true, is probably going to be a little bit wacky. Hoping for some more epic micro from Zest. We saw from him in the group stages, for example. So it'd be cool to see a bit more of that. So do just get this started on up. So River about to pop out from Bunny here. The command center on its way down as well. And you see the hatchery starting up from soO as well. So again, that natural expansion started. Overlord coming forwards as well. You're just going to see Bunny going to be pressing in towards the upper side of the map. Again, Thunderbird, this map which has the mineable minerals to the left side, out to the center, etc. So that's something to keep in mind here. You'll see those couple of lings coming forwards. Reaper taking a little bit of a beating. Sling's doing a little bit of damage to it there. The Queen coming forwards in the end and is able to push that Reaper away. Factory dropping into the main base, and obviously wait to see, well, just how does Bunny play this out? Does he play in towards the, the factory base? So, does he play in towards the Hellions heavily? Does he go Hellbats for the first time this series? What exactly is the plan? So far, I've just been having to build kind of marine tank and a little bit of like a Hellion pressure with the medevacs and so on, but mostly just building up into that push, which then comes in and is actually able to get quite a lot done because you come forwards and you set up the siege on the edge of the creep. The issue with that is now kind of soO feels as though he's figured it out, as we'll see the Reaper hop off down to the low ground there. So Reaper staying alive. Couple of Hellions on the way up as the Starport going to move down to the Tech Lab. The Tech Lab going to be starting up there, and the third hatchery just about to finish up as well. So third hatchery finishing as the Reaper and the couple of Hellions coming around to the left. The Overlord from soO still heading up through the center as well. Another Overlord just off of the main of the natural expansion as well. And again, those couple of Hellions just hanging out on the front. Reaper, 2 Hellions. Going around the side there. Queen's backing away for a moment. Overlord's still hanging out as well. And just going to be seeing that lair starting up from soO. Getting that going as the Bane Nest going to drop down also. Obviously got to remember this third base is blocked off by minerals here. So the only access point is this ramp here. So it's actually very difficult to really do much on this map. So the Viking comes down, picks off that Overlord. Gonna see a Viking just looking around for other Overlords as well. More Hellions moving into the center, and still haven't seen anyone mining out these rock minerals just yet. We've seen that in previous games, though. It's definitely something people have done to open up the much faster attack path through the middle. It's only 5 minerals on those as well, so it does, they do mine out pretty quickly here. Is the Viking gonna get the Overlord transfuse? It's good, and then obviously Viking does have to turn away. These are also only 5 minerals, so it doesn't take a lot of mining. It's just very difficult if you want to mine it out as your opponent. If you're Bunny and you want to push into the third base, that's at least 2 SCVs here to mine out, and probably at least 4 to create a reasonable gap to push through. Okay, well, it's going to be Hellbat Banshee, and the Hellions morphing into Hellbats already here, coming into the front, and 2 more factories behind this, indicated by the double gases coming up as well. This is going to be an all-out mech play. So Bunny completely changing it up for this game at number 3. With the first few Banelings connecting in, the Hellbats starting to drop down a little bit. And you see the other couple of Banelings continue to waddle forwards. Getting some good damage onto the Hellbats, to the point where the Hellbats pretty much have to just pull away now. Probably can't really commit in any further, as the Ling's going to keep on chasing down. And Hellbats are dropping. Good cleanup here by soO. Completely perfect, absolutely perfect defense. You would not have really wanted to add much more into this. Viking hanging out on the bottom side here is Bunny. With a couple of freezes. All of the maps are very fast. Seemingly, things are all very big, very large to push across. Which I think is this one definitely is very big. This map's actually huge. I think. You know, it's got that central position as well, which you haven't mined out just yet. So I think this is one of the larger maps. What was the other? I mean, the other maps, Black Baroque, yes. Loss of Version, I didn't think it was that big. Loss of Version didn't feel big. I don't know. Anyway, shout out to Crank for giving us a little bit of a translation here and there. As you can see, a couple of Hellions, the Banshee hanging out at the front. SCV's coming over and going to mine away on the third base. So we do see the Viking lands, just sees this base coming down. So we actually have missed, but a few minerals have been mined out here, and soO will continue this to give access to the fourth base. Look at that, just opening up this area, and soon it'll be like minerals were never even here. So yeah, just mining out all of that. As Hellions hanging out to the top right, Queen's pressing in. Remember, this is mech. And what kind of mech? Well, it looks like with +1 weapons coming in and no armor, it's just going to be traditional kind of tank Hellion mech. A few 4s, or 1 4, 2 4s started up initially. That's very good in case mutalisks come out, then you have some anti-air, and you can lift them in the medevacs and harass around as well. So that is what we're beginning to see here. And some more creeps still pushing through the center. Hellions trying to clean up some of it on the right side though. Obviously the 4 is going to be the biggest threat in the next few moments as they come in towards this fourth base. And that's where cleaning up these couple of mineral patches makes life a little bit easier, because now you can come over with the units very quickly and respond, although a lot of soO's units are very out of position. He's just missing Hydra speed, Bane speed, etc. right now, so he couldn't get anything there in time. And that is going to be a dead fourth hatchery. So, good pick off by Bunny. It's the sort of pick off you want to make early in the game with your mech army. Start slowing down the Zerg's continuation into the later stages of the game. So yeah, job well done so far, I'd say. Now, as we do have the... Excuse me, sorry. My throat's pretty much completely healed now, but I still got a little bit of a cough here and there. Apologies for that. As you see these Queens just going to be able to pick their way through those rocks. The rocks will go down. Group spread is very impressive here, considering it is such a large map, so see as that pushes all the way forwards. And Hydra's here going to be found by Hellions. Looks like Hellions obviously do pretty well against Hydralisks due to the bonus light damage. Queen's going to have to come in and respond as those Hellions get pushed away over to the left side. +2 attack coming in from Bunny. We're going to be seeing the Hydras coming down to the bottom, and going to just be seeing those couple of 4s getting pushed back of those medevacs, but they're still on the map. They're still being annoying. There's the fourth base set up now. Group spread pushing forwards too, and soO is still getting this really set up nicely out on the map. So really establishing a lot of this here. Viking jumps on towards an Overlord already and is just going to be picking away for a couple of these. So Overlord's taking a good little bit of damage here as the Viking will fall. Again, down to these down to the bottom, these couple of 4s ready to jump on in perhaps in the next few moments. Some Zerglings running around a little bit here as well. Starport on the way up, a couple more factories on the way out as well. More Hellions, more tanks, all in production. Getting these little mineral patches being mined out a little bit to give access down to another base on the bottom side. I really feel like this map is... It looks very, very macro-friendly for a Zerg player, right? Because it feels like you take this base here. How are Terrans meant to... I guess now the Terran player can push down the left side into this base, which does reduce the distance a little bit as the first Viper abduct of the game gets a Viking. Corruptor's been added in, and soO's going to go straight to the Great Aspire. So both these players, obviously, beyond the initial Hellbat attack, it's not been too much going on, so they'll be able to go straight in towards their Tier 3 techs. soO's not being slowed down at all to kind of stop him going into Corruptors and now Broodlords. Corruptors might be nice initially as well, chase these medevacs away, because they're still being so annoying. Those tank 4s dropping in once again here onto that third base. You'll see the Sport Crawler going to get targeted down too, so the medevac's still safe. And again, here come the Corruptors. There is a boost to keep them alive for a little while longer, but that's a nice abduct. And this 1-4 that drops into the main base then gets yonked down to the natural. Well, not the natural, but the third. Alright, again, good response from soO in the end. Finally getting rid of those 4s as soon as he has the options to. Now the Greater Spiders. The Broodlord's going to be here in a moment. There's Roaches and Hydras pressing up through the center. So there's a push on the right-hand side, and we're going to be seeing some Queens dropping down here. Some creep spread could go down as well. still does still got this creep positioned out in the front, and well, tanks, Hellbats will go into unsiege. At this stage of the game, it's time to build up those extra starports, and that's exactly what Bunny will do here, as he will start to find an answer to the Broodlords. Broodlords are now up on the map. Now just hanging out right on the bottom, so soon not bringing them forwards just yet. Obviously, they're pretty slow and immobile, so you're not pretty sure about where you want to attack with them before you attack us. Ooh, awkward for soO because of those the position of these minerals. He couldn't just back away there. Had to kind of run into the units to get back home, or pull away to the right side, which is what he has done here in the end. Obviously, those attack paths aren't open early in the game. There's rocks blocking them, so it's that's an attack path that gets opened up here later on. It's Thunderbird really getting tried and tested right now, isn't it? Really getting a little bit of a run through. Couple fours on the way up, some extra Vikings as well, plus one ship weapons coming in too. You see that medevac gets shot down, and still everything here from Bunny gathering together. This is pretty crazy. I mean, it's a good army. The Broodlord's going to start dropping down though. The Vikings, maybe not in good enough numbers just yet. The Vipers here, a little late to the party, is actually going to chase this quite far down. However, the missile turrets will be a good deterrent. Doesn't want to lose too much for free here, of course. However, those will now drop. And so Roaches and Hydras able to come forward. Finds the center tower too. Bunny continues to expand down to the left, so he's actually expanding towards soO's 5th base here. I would say it's 5th, it's actually a 6th base. This base up over here as well. So we're going to keep on pushing in though, finds the 4th of Bunny. And here you go, Hellbat's going to drop on top of the Roaches and the Hydras, especially those Hydras will go down very quickly and just clean up a lot of the ground force. Now the 4's able to focus up on the Broodlords. Brood's taking quite a bit of damage. 4's just need to survive, and the SCVs will repair up here. The tanks cleaning out the Broodlings to protect the 4's as well. And that looks like it's going to be a cleanup. 4's just need to get rid of a few more units in the skies, and well, this army from Bunny can continue forwards. soO, down to 130 supply, has decided what he wants to build at the moment. There's so much money in the bank. Has the lava for it as well, just probably doesn't know what to build for the best. Do you build more Corruptors and Broods? Do you build Hydras? I mean, you think you need something on the ground, but I'm not sure if there's going to be enough to come up to deal with this push forwards. Bunny has a lot as he presses forwards here at the moment. It's going straight through the center. The Corruptor's taking quite a bit of damage as well. 4 shots, picking up a few more Broodlords. And those Vikings continue to drop as, I mean, they again, sure, they kill a few Vikings, but overall the Corruptor's just not doing anything. And this push from Bunny is looking deadly. Now a lot more Hydras on the way out, so soO is remaxing, and his units here, let's see if they're going to be enough to clean this army up, because Bunny is right on the front of this. You can see already the first couple of forces going to lift up and pull away. Tanks are sieged up in the background. A couple of Vikings get parasitic bombed, and they just kind of fly forwards a bit haphazardly. soO's supply is down once more, which is never a good sign during the fight. Medevacs though aren't really adding much into this here, neither are the Vikings any longer, because the Broods and the Corruptors are all dead. And even the 4's obviously aren't going to be as good as having extra siege tanks here. Still pretty good though, they're still chunk down units, as Bunny takes a 20-30 supply lead, and looking very good with it. Obviously has a good amount of bases up himself, and he denied one of the bases of soO here, although soO still has the entire bottom side of the map, so base numbers are equal. A good micro on the 4's as well, keeping them alive when they get low. Just finding everything he can out of this as Bunny continues to press into the natural. Starting to find some of the tech structures here. The Bayonet Nest, the Great Aspire would be a huge pick off. Make sure no more Broodlords come into play, and then you can just continue building Hellbats and tanks, right? You don't even have to worry about anti-air any longer and whether you should be building it, because Berserk is massing some up. I think Bunny knows he's in control of this game though, just sitting on the front doorstep of soO. He might get pushed away right now, but only until he gets a few more reinforcements and a little bit more on the map in general. I mean, those 4's super low as well. He just needs to go home, repair those up for a few moments, and they're going to be brand spanking new, ready to fight once again. Be able to get a lot done probably, because you saw in that last fight, they were able to take some good trades. They were able to pick up a couple of kills. So that was very well done, as Roach and a few Hydras down to the bottom left. Scan on the far right from Bunny, just checking to see where the other bases are. Does see this one down here. This base should be easy to push because he has this base here, so you should be able to push this base with ease. Interesting sensor tower location, by the way. Bottom left, didn't even know this map had sensor towers, but bottom left and top right kind of watches this very far pathway, so Not kind of the super common, location for sensor towers. Not going to be used all the time, but not Naga towers. But still, I think kind of useful for the later stages of the game, and definitely does create a bit of an impact on how probably players will move around now in that bottom side, and we probably will see a little bit of contesting for that base as well, I'd imagine. Salami still just moving around a little bit at the moment here and seeing just where it should maybe attack next as he pushes down to the bottom. Viper's coming in. Good parasitic bombs on top of those medevacs. Oh my god, tons of damage being done. Has to split away. In the end, a good split and does keep the medevacs alive, although they are low. soO is maxed out again, but when the Terran's being the aggressor, you've got to attack into him, and that's always a bit painful. Roach is counter-attacking, find a tank in a few Hellions, and it's good because it pulls back some of Bunny's army. Maybe exposes the bottom side army. I mean, the more time you buy here from soO as well, I think, the better this becomes, because you don't want the Terran to push further in to deny this base already. soO's actually built some Desperation Swarm Hosts, and I really think they are out of desperation. It's not the stage of the game you usually add Swarm Hosts in. Usually the earlier in the game you build Swarm Hosts, the better they are, because you get more value out of them. And this is going to be a commitment through using the Locust to buy the first little shots off of the army of Bunny. But in the end, I think Bunny's army is still just a little bit too good. More Hellions into Hellbats here. They're pushing down this left-hand side. We see a few mules dropping in as Bunny's even taking... Why is Bunny taking this base? I have no idea in the world. But he is taking the base of soO. Like, literally, soO's base leads into that base. Well, that's just crazy. And Bunny obviously feels extremely confident right now. Roach is like, what the hell are you doing? No, this is not allowed, Bunny. You're not allowed to do this. So Bunny lifts up. He's like, oh, okay then. I guess I'll have to go up to this side of the map and mine out my own minerals. God. Making me work for it. Capturing the bottom left goes down. Still looks good for Bunny to probably not even out this series, but get one on the scoreboard at least. Here again, soO, as we see those locals dropping down again. A couple of tanks being cleaned out. And Bunny's still just sitting in the bottom left corner. Feeling good at the moment. Yeah, this base here is a double rich gas geyser, which is maybe perhaps why we saw Bunny interested in taking it for his mech play. It's kind of a hard base to get to. Like, it's really far forwards and obviously kind of exposed from a couple different angles. So you can understand why you can justify maybe making it double rich gas, because it's not easily taken. We're just going to be seeing soO no longer really has a bank or anything. So without a bank, how are you going to trade with this army and then build? I mean, spoiler alert, you just don't. So I think soO is on his way out here, as we see. Well, Locust dropping down, but the Blue Flame Hellbat deals that so easily. It's not even worth thinking about. If Viking finds a low health Viper, gets the kill before it has the energy to do anything else. Still a bit of army left over here as Bunny just presses down in this direction. The Swarm Host taking a beat, and the Roaches and the Hydra keep going down. This is GG, and Bunny will take the map back against 4. Top left side, our red Zerg player. This is going to be soO. Bottom right hand side, our blue Terran. We've got Blazer Bunny. Dolphin Wolf coming in with the 1000. Show the love bits. I actually think those are the first show love bits I've had. You know, we're only a couple days late for Valentine's, but we're finally getting some hearts in the chat. Thank you so much, Dolphin Wolf, for the 1000 bits to start this up. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. As we have got a couple more drones on the way out. Gonna pop out, take that extractor. And we're just gonna be seeing that barracks on the way down the bottom right. Again, early game, pretty regular, pretty straightforward. We've seen it a lot now in the TVZs. And these guys obviously not changing it up at all. Not even any kind of early pool here from soO. We did see a bit of that in Loss of Version. But that's been about it in terms of changing things up here, in terms of what gets done. So a lot of moving out through the center of the map to kick this off. And yeah, away we go. Let me grab a quick drink. This map also looks pretty large. It's another kind of macro-focused map, I think. I mean, the thing is, these guys... What's been interesting about this map pool is that most of the challenge maps have turned out to be quite large maps themselves. Like Thunderbird isn't a macro map in terms of the category it comes in. It's actually a challenge map. And I feel like that this applies for a bunch of them. So I think Lots of versions pretty big. Thunderbird, Myeongyong Sejong, and Breakout are all pretty large, and they all come in from challenge maps when you could probably put them under macro maps. So these guys have picked a lot of maps that are very macro focused, I feel. So yeah, I think there's a lot of macro focus coming in from these guys, and it's just the way the maps have gone. They kind of vetoed out all the maps which were a little bit more aggressive, a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller. So yeah. I'm cold looking at the map. We have had some white wintry maps here, haven't we? Hopefully it doesn't keep us cold, because I feel a bit cold too. You might notice I just put my hoodie on during the last game. It's a bit chilly. It's a bit chilly. Yeah, I mean, the challenge maps do kind of lend themselves. I think the thing is, if you make a challenge map, if you make it a nice large macro / standard map, it's more likely to do well, right? Because people are like, oh, it's weird, but you can still play like a macro longer game on it, right? We see a couple of the maps with inhibitor zones are a bit smaller, but obviously then they have the inhibitor zones. Obviously none of these during this series so far, so yeah, these maps have been pretty large, but I think it's a lot of just what to do with what the players have vetoed and so on. They're not playing any of the standard maps, which are a bit more regularly sized as well. So, yeah. There's Ripper and a couple of Hellions pressing forwards, and the game is going to be a Hellbat drop. We see the Medevac on the way in. Oh no, just a Hellion drop? No, it is going to be Hellbats. Armory is a little bit late though. I usually expect this to be ready for the 420 marker. It's actually going to be ready at 435, so about a 15-second delay there from Bunny compared to what you'd expect. As the starport starts up, he's on the tech lab. Starts up Cloak. His two Marines are going to get the Overlord kill before it actually picks up 2 vital information. And you see the Cloak. We'll see if that's actually going to be a real commitment. Nope, cancels it right away. So again, back in towards this. It's actually going to go for the Hellbat drop this time. So 4 Hellions into the main, and that's probably why this is a bit delayed. It's not going to be the 3 Marines coming across the map. Instead, it's going to be Hellions and Hellbats in the main, combined with Hellions and Hellbats at the third. So these few Hellions begin to unload. What's up, Deafany? Coming in with the 2-month sub. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Get some love in the chat with Deafany. Baby free. 6 drones down. He's going to be seeing the Lingers able to force those Hellions to lift up once again. More Hellions from Bunny pressing forwards. We'll see these ones will morph into Hellbats, and we'll start to attack the third base. The Queen here a little out of position right away. I love that grenade. It actually would have been great if the Queen had pulled back right away. It didn't though, and so the Queen will survive, and the Hellbats will not actually do too much on the front. Viking getting some damage done. The Hellions in the main trying to unload again. Will get a chance to become Hellbats right now as the things coming in on top, but the micro is good to keep them alive. And these Hellbats at the front getting shut down pretty easily though. So that is going to be turned away as now Hellbats pushing into the main base. So this is the big threat now as Bunny doing some okay damage. I mean, a few drones here and there. It adds up to being enough, I think. As we're going to be seeing the Hellions getting lifted up again, and good control from Bunny to get so much done there as he goes into the mech play as a follow-up. And soO, there's just plenty and plenty of roaches at the moment. What's up, Stavester? Coming in for the Twitch Prime sub for 3 months in a row as well. Comes in and says, thanks, Wardy, for sharing a nice Zergling barbecue. No worries, we all love a good Zergling barbecue, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. +1 vehicle weapons on the way up on the armory. And we are going to be seeing the second armory being added as well. Again, just committing into this double armory mech play. So again, not going to be Cyclone Hellion. Much more likely to be Siege Tank and Hellion. It's just, again, the Cyclone style is definitely dying off a little bit. It's definitely a little bit less popular than it was. And someone like Bunny seems to be just much more comfortable going into Tank Hellion, which allows you to go into a much more kind of regular macro game a lot of the time. The Brace Siege is up, drones pull away, the Hellions try and combo that with a run by, and the drones weren't quite stacked enough, although still 12 workers down. Okay, well, Bunny's actually dealt quite a lot of damage now. This Liberator, doesn't move away enough. It could have pulled away and survived, but he was a little bit lazy with the movement. A little bit of a shame. Well, more Hellions popping out as we see extra fours on the way out as well. Medevac from Bunny building up in the main base. Infestation Pit going to be finishing shortly. The Hydralisk Den soon as well. And all of this getting set to go. Alright, so Infestation Pit about to finish as we see a couple of fours about to be completed as well. A couple of drones going down as Hellions drive by again. soO is taking so much damage here. Bunny really put himself in a hell of a spot. That's another 12 workers, 14, because there's damage being done elsewhere. Was that just that Hellion? I got 2 more. Wow, that's actually insane. I didn't even see that. So 14 workers killed, and again, soO is just consistently having to rebuild drones as he goes into Hive, through Spines, getting those Hydra upgrades set to go here. And now just this Overseer still hanging out over to the right, just waiting for the next opportunity or something. +2 vehicle weapons on the way up. The +1 vehicle plating coming in the main base, and just going to be seeing that Overseer coming down the right. Couple of changelings will wander forwards, and we do see the siege tank able to clean that up. 4th base going to be established now. soO's at the point where, you know, his creep spread's looking good. He's going to be waiting for that Hive tech, and when the Hive kicks in, he can get the Vipers up. Until he gets those Vipers up, there's not really much else for him to do. Maybe a quick poke and prod here and there, but it gets risky. You walk into the wrong place, tanks fighting, you lose so many units. It's just hanging up a moment or so. Then just going to see that orbital morphing in at the moment. Planetary Fortress morphing, I should say, rather than orbital. Just a few moments of sitting back here, waiting for those Vipers. Great Aspire starting from soO as well. I really feel like Bunny just wasn't able to capitalize on all of the damage and pressure he built up here early in the game. You see a medevac loading up, and just a couple of Hellbats going to try and drop around and deal some damage. So, a couple of Hellbats trying to get a little bit of something done as they head up to the top right-hand side. Another scan drops down here from Bunny, sees the hatchery, sees the Queen. 2 Vipers just consuming away, and obviously that's information that Bunny's able to pick up here as well. So knows where soO is at in terms of his tech. Knows Hive is up, knows it's been enough time for Vipers to be full of energy, and well, then also knows there's potential for a Great Aspire to be on the way. So might have to stop either preparing for that or attacking before the Great Aspire. However, the Great Aspire is about to be done, so I actually don't think you can attack before Great Aspire because he doesn't have enough stuff to really fight with. 1-4, 3 Vikings. Believe it or not, that's not going to kill a bunch of Broodlords. So there's some very pretty creep spread on the mini-map here. This has creep tumors in all the directions. Has this now 5th hatchery getting set to come down as well. So getting this started up. Again, just another scan coming in for the moment. And seeing where we kind of go from here. There's a few comments that some of these maps feel like terraforming. I definitely feel like this map has a bit of a terraformy feel to it. With the way that you've definitely got like an outer ring of bases, then an inner ring of bases. But in general, I kind of like this one. There's another map that's very like Terraform as well, Operation Lockdown, I think. It's pretty funky. You guys remember Terraform from the Legacy, from the Heart of the Swarm days. +2 vehicle plane is about to complete, so again, upgrades coming through from Bunny. Roaches, Hydra set up in the center. Tanks already sieging and getting some good damage done as Hellbats and 4s pressing forwards in the middle as well. Just pressing in, tanks already in a little bit of trouble. You've seen the tanks and so on getting picked away at the moment. So a couple of tanks going down, some SCVs as well. Ruben's still chasing down this army, but they will expire. This push from soO still coming down to the bottom side of the map. Flying clouds are pretty good here, and actually the flying clouds are pretty disgusting. Landing on top of all of those units, doing a very good job of this. But now there's nothing to deal with the Broodlords at all. All the Medivacs, everything in the sky goes down, so it's just Broodlords versus this one single four. SCVs will actually pull in and repair this. Corruptors I thought were already going to be caustic spraying, not the case. I liked this fight for soO. He has a lot of money in the bank, but mostly minerals, not a lot of gas. Makes it a bit awkward in terms of what he can rebuild at the moment. Corruptors do end up making their exit off to the left-hand side. No caustic spray is utilized at all in the end. Again, probably could have put some pressure onto this command center. Maybe wouldn't have got the kill, but would have caused some SCVs to lose mining time at least. Anyways, again, not the end of the world. Seven more Broodlords on the way out. Man, the crit spread, though, is again pretty insane through the center, around the sides. It's looking very good so far as we're going to be seeing those Hellions. Be able to clean out. Hydra's pressing forwards and again just chasing those Hellions away. The Hellions pulling back down into the center. Small Hydra's getting ready to go. We've got those Broods to the left hand side as well. +2 missiles, +2 carapace, also about to complete. Just pressing forwards here, Bunny. Every time he does, his Brood Ball's just waiting to greet him, so he needs to get some more Vikings up, but he's only building 2 or 3 at a time. And soO has Queens here for transfusions, has the anti-air from those, has the Corruptors available as well. And now you see a lot of Vikings starting to come up, right? So, it's something, but then it comes down to the Hydras underneath as well. If those Hydras can connect on those Vikings, it's not going to look too pretty. Here we go. You can see the Hydras fighting away. You're going to be seeing the Vikings trying to get the job done. Parasite Bomb lands on the Vikings on the left as the Hydras break in. They are going to get rid of some of these Vikings as well, man. Those Vikings are actually battered and bruised from the Parasite Bomb. They just stayed stacked up in it, and while the Broodlords are maybe about to go down, the ground army is still looking great. So many Hydras here. The few Broodlords that do survive actually still will be able to get pretty good damage done. Good transfusions from the Queens, keeping those Broods alive for so long. Fireworkers down as soO pushing forwards up 2-1 in this best of 5, looking to close this out, looking to win this series and advance through to the semi-finals. He's had 2 top 2 finishes in Team Liquid Map Contest tournaments that I've ran out of 4. Maybe looking for another. He has actually won one of those as well. I know you guys like to mean about soO being in second place, but he's won one of those in second place for the second time. Just pushing the orbitals away. We're going to be seeing the Broods still pressing in. There's just not enough anti-air from Bunny. Well, maybe now with the Vikings coming in, but he's building so many Vikings, then what holds on the ground? People still just helping to press forwards on the ground here. The few Hydras do peel off to the side, and the Vikings have already taken damage. Pushing straight up this ramp, these tanks are going to go down too. Great control and reading of the situation by Bunny, knowing he could, by soO, sorry, knowing he could continue to press forwards here. 15 workers down, GG is called. soO takes the game in the series, and soO